Jesus, of course, is a central figure of Christianity since he's viewed as divine. However, although not seen in the exact same light as the Christian view, Jesus is still a very important figure in the Islamic faith. Welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and in this episode I'm bringing you 10 surprising and interesting facts about Jesus inside of the religion of Islam. Starting off at number 10. So as you look throughout the Quran, Jesus is identified as a prophet of God, and he was sent to the Jews who had over time believed to have deviated from the teachings of Moses as well as other prophets. There was a time also when Jesus said, "Children of Israel, I am the messenger of God sent to you confirming the Torah which came before," and that's in the Quran Surah 61 verse 6. Jesus is believed to be the last in line of the Jewish prophets, and he lived according to the Torah, which is the law of Moses, as well as he taught his followers to do the same. Also, the next thing to know is that the Prophet Muhammad is only mentioned a total of 4 times in the Quran, while Jesus, however, is mentioned 25 times by name.
Whoa. That's interesting. Why is Jesus so much in the Quran? I thought it was like mainly kind of like I know that Jesus and Prophet Muhammad are both prophets, but I thought it'd be mainly kind of centered around the story of Prophet Muhammad. That's interesting. I was actually reading the Quran last night a little bit. The introduction was so long though, just like the English translator was like writing so much and kind of like background about Islam, so I only kind of got to like the first like actual page because I was kind of reading through all that. But man, I've been cracking open my Quran, but that's interesting. Prophet Muhammad is only in there 4 times.
A lot of people know that. Now, while Jesus is recognized as the Son of God in the Bible, the Quran, however, uses other titles for Jesus, but it doesn't use the term Son of God. It uses titles like the Messenger of God, the Word of God, Son of Mary. Even at one point it uses the term the Spirit from God. Now, on top of that, Jesus is referred more than any other person in the Quran next to Moses, but not all mentions are by name. Instead, some of these references just use a term like Messiah and Son of Mary and things like that. Another popular Muslim view is that out of all the prophets and messengers of God, Jesus is the only messenger who received the title of Messiah. And that's also found in the Quran. Now, the term can be translated as the Anointed One, and the phrase in Arabic, Al-Masih, also refers to...
So wait, the Messiah, Son of Mary, was not but a messenger, so he's not just a messenger? Messengers are passed on before him, and his mother was a supporter of truth.
The role of Jesus in the end times in Islam. But most of the information about Jesus' role in the end times is found in the Hadith, which are the records of Islamic traditions and sayings of the Prophet.
I'm kind of confused. Like, Jesus came here to spread the word about God. Do you guys think that Jesus made a mistake by starting like an entire religion around him? I'm not sure. I think it was like, I was listening to somebody say this. It might have been Zerka, I don't know. It was like, oh, he's like arguing on the Christian side. It's like, do you think that Jesus made a mistake while making like the largest religion in the world, Christianity, to follow him as God when he's just supposed to be a messenger of Allah? Which is actually a really good question. So let me know in the comments. Also, if you guys want to reach out to me, I put my Instagram somewhere down there. But I'm very curious about that. Like, did Jesus come to spread the word of Allah and just by accident, or like humans misconstrued? And Jesus created his own religion following him? That's a question I have for sure.
Muhammad, and not actually in the Quran itself. Now, the next thing to know is that not just Christians believe that Jesus was born of a virgin. So when you go back to the birth of Jesus, Muslims believe that Jesus was born of the Virgin Mary in a miraculous birth, which was a miracle by God. It's also interesting to note that inside of the Quran, Jesus actually talks while he's in a cradle, like as a baby. It says this, "Then she, Mary, pointed to him, and they said, 'How can we talk to one who is..."
So this is all Prophet Muhammad getting this knowledge from God. So God is like telling Prophet Muhammad the story of baby Jesus talking in the cradle. Because this isn't actually written by eyewitness. This is written by Prophet Muhammad, who apparently had like heard from God. So, that's interesting too.
A child in the cradle. He, Jesus, said, "Verily, I am a slave of God. He has given me the scriptures and made me a prophet." And that's in Quran Surah 19 verses 29 to 30. Now, I don't know about you guys, but prophet or not, sign from God or not, miracle or not, I don't care. If I see a talking baby, it's a wrap. Like, I'm gone, guys. Also, Jesus is known for performing many miracles, not just talking in a cradle. The Quran says in Surah 5 verses 110, "Behold, I taught you the book and wisdom, the law and the gospel, and behold, you make out of clay, as it were, the figure of a bird by my leave. And you breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by my leave. And you heal those born blind, and the lepers by my leave, and behold, you bring forth the dead by my leave." So those are multiple miracles that Jesus was able to perform according to the Quran. Now let's talk about Jesus in the end times according to popular Muslim belief. So in the end times, Jesus is actually going to declare Islam to be the true religion, and all of the Christians will convert at the time. So all other religions will be eliminated, but the earth is going to experience peace. Like, even the animal kingdom is going to experience peace. Crops and wildlife and everything is just going to be super flourishing. And for this time period, there's going to be no wars. It's just going to be complete peace. However, this reign of Jesus is believed to just last only 40 years. And during that time, he'll go to Mecca regularly to perform the pilgrimage. It's also believed that he's going to have children and then eventually pass away and buried in.
See, my biggest thing is, like, they've been saying that Jesus is going to return for years, though, you know? Like, this all sounds great and stuff, but haven't they been saying, oh, Jesus is returning for thousands and thousands of years? I don't know. I'm not saying, like, I don't believe in it, because I do, to a degree. But I don't know. I'd like to see that. And all the Muslims are going to be like, yeah, I told you so. It's going to be basically saying, like, it's going to be a I told you so moment for Muslims.
In Medina next to the Prophet Muhammad. Now again, that's not the blanket belief of the Muslims, it's just based on a popular school of thought. Alright, 2 more facts left. The Prophet Muhammad is often seen by non-Muslims as the equivalent to Jesus when you compare it to Christianity. However, according to the Quran, Muslims believe that Jesus is not greater or better than the Prophet Muhammad, and also that the Prophet Muhammad isn't greater or better than Jesus. As a matter of fact, no prophet is greater than any other prophet. They're just prophets that God sent to fulfill a certain purpose, and that's pretty much it. And the final thing is, when we look at the crucifixion of Jesus, Muslims believe, according to the Quran, that Jesus was not crucified. Rather, it appeared that he was crucified, and that instead of being buried, he was actually taken up from the cross, and God brought him to heaven. Now, the Quran doesn't necessarily explain who that person was that was actually crucified that looked like Jesus. They believe that it appeared to be Jesus, but there's no real detail about who that other person was. You can find this in the Quran in Surah 4 verses 157. It said, "They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them." And also it says in Surah 4 verses 158, "God lifted him up to his presence. God is almighty, all wise." Alright guys, so that was a brief.
Yeah, but at the same time, the whole Bible is about how Jesus was crucified. So it's like, how are we going to know that the Quran is more true than the Bible, which says that Jesus is crucified? And I believe that the Bible did come first. So I don't know. This is genuinely just me asking questions, and I'm open-hearted. I want to hear what you guys have to say. These are literally just questions I haven't thought about. So shout out to this video for provoking these thoughts in my mind. And like, as these thoughts are coming in my head, I'm just thinking like, oh, I should say this on camera, because then people are going to reach out to me and give me the answers. So how do we know, first of all, how do we know that the Quran is more true than the Bible when the Bible came first? That's just a question. I'm not even a Christian. That's just a question from somebody who's closer to Islam than Christianity. I'm closer to Islam than Christianity, no doubt. But how do we know that the Quran is the truth over the Bible? And the Bible allegedly is written by eyewitnesses that saw Jesus die on the cross and then get resurrected. I don't know. Just the whole thing about him being a body double. Like, how would they swap him out? I don't know. Everything else kind of does make sense. Like, okay, Jesus is a man. He can't be God. He's sent by God as a prophet. But the whole, like, body double on the cross, I don't know, man. I'm going to need a little bit more clarification on that. But God bless you guys. Subscribe if you want more content. Follow me on Instagram and reach out to me. Like the video. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.